So I've given you the FLA file for this simple animation. So it's just cycling through. You can see the mouth is moving. So what type of words can you use for particular sounds? So you could say a, o, f, and m when you would have the mouth closed. So these are going to be beneficial if you're trying to say something. The hardest part you're going to find with lip syncing is going to be synchronizing the mouth with the sound. So in this particular example, I've basically just put those key frames that are associated to these individual sequences. So this section, may say something, then we'll have an O. I think the best approach to this would be to be looking in front of a mirror. So if you're going to maybe place your own audio into your animation, remember you can have background music, and at one particular point you could have some verbal conversation, even two people doing that one time, and it'll make your animation far more interesting, even if it's maybe just a couple of seconds rather than the full 20 seconds, because it can be time consuming when you're trying to sync the mouth to it. So this is just a simple animation, but you can go online and see or Google lip syncing animation, and there's tons of stuff you can pull from there, and shows you, how you can improve if you have a particular word you're trying to sync it. But always try to get a mirror, try to see how you would open your mouth when you're trying to say something. So I thought I may highlight that. You may want to utilize something like this, especially if you have a character. I'm assuming most of you may have a character in your animation. You may want to include this. Okay, something else I'd like you guys to think about before, and I will give you a solution on this. So if we had, if I have, say, there's a planet, just change the color to maybe green. So I have, we'll call this Earth. Then I have another moon. I'll change this to kind of a grey. How could we have this moon go around our Earth? What would you need to do in order for that to work? So it has to go, and it has to go behind. So how would it cycle around? How would you do that? Any ideas? How would it be possible to create that? Sorry? I don't know. There's several ways of doing this. There's not one particular way. There's several ways of doing it. So I'd like you guys to think of how you may create that. How is that possible? I mean, you could do it. You know how you could do it. How do you have that go behind the moon, then come back around, and it keeps cycling around? So how would you actually create it? I could show it to you. So let's actually run through it. So we've got the moon, we have the Earth. So the first thing we want to do is we want to kind of create a tween. So I could either create a guide. Remember a guide? We did this some time back. So what I could do is let me draw a guide. So I'm going to draw kind of an oval. That's going to be my guide. I'm going to put this on a separate layer, and I'll call this guide. And I'm going to get rid of the center. I'm just going to erase a section of it. Eraser correct. Okay. Let's lock the other layers. So that's why it's always a good idea to lock the other layers. So now let me erase that part. Now if you can remember, how did we create guide? Click on guide, and now we drag and drop that moon into the guide. Unlock that. Now I'm just going to place that here. Now I'm going to right click, convert to symbol, and it's going to be movie clip, say moon. And now I'll just create a classic tween. Insert keyframe. So let's go back, insert keyframe. And now I want that to kind of come around. Now if we play it, it comes around, doesn't it? And it does it well. I mean, that's, so we've got this going around. Now, what is the issue? The issue is we want it to hide when he goes behind it. So what I tend to do is I would actually create another layer, and I would move it at the top, and which is going to be the earth. I would place it on the top, so I'll say earth again. So now I'm playing around with layers, so I'm going to place that on top, exactly overlaying the other earth. So now at least we have it coming around. Now at this point I want to remove it, so I'm going to right click, insert keyframe, and then I want my moon to reappear. So I'm going to take this section off. Now when we play this, it gives you the effect that it's going around. So all I did was I've just got two duplicate layers of the moon. Two duplicate layers. So it's fairly easy to do.